Hi everyone, this is Arcadius and welcome back to Naval. Today we'll be reviewing the second aircraft layout of Lexington, or the Concord, however you want to call her, and it's only slightly different from the one we did yesterday. So yesterday we had two squadrons of fighters, one torpedo bomber squadron and one dive bomber squadron. Today we have only one fighter squadron, two torpedo bomber squadrons, and one dive bomber. So we traded a fighter for a torpedo bomber squadron. So less defensive power, but more offensive power. So pretty good, I would say. The torpedo bombers are doing relatively well. We have the Avengers instead of the Devastators, so they are performing a little bit better. They're not as slow, and they're really good. Also, we have the Hell Divers for dive bombers, and we saw how good those dive bombers were yesterday. Well, kind of. The game yesterday wasn't really that good, so hopefully we're actually going to have a better one today. So with that, let's toss her into a game and see how we can do. Alright, here ourselves a game. One carrier, 4 battleships, 3 cruisers, and 1 destroyer. At least this time we actually have battleships to try and damage. We have North Carolina, which has good AA. Vanguard, which has pretty decent AA. King George, pretty good. Moggy, okay-ish. And then Baltimore and Hipper have pretty good AA. Wichita, not really. And New Thrashing it actually does have pretty good AA for a destroyer. However, against a tier 8 carrier, it's not going to do much. Alright, so let's see here. We're going to bring out our fighters over there. We're going to bring out our torpedo bombers over here and our dive bombers over here. And then we're going to just see what we can do. We got to launch all our aircraft first, and then go from there. The size of this ship is, well, based historically. Lexington and her sister Saratoga were designed as battle cruisers originally, and then underneath the Washington Treaty, they were transformed into carriers so they could actually keep the hulls. So that explains why they're so big, but they're also really big targets, and they're very easy to hit. So that's one of the main drawbacks of Lexington. If you have something like Shikaku, she is much lower to the water, and I think well, they're about the same speed. She might be just a tad faster, if anything. But her concealment, I feel, should be very different as well. I don't really pay attention to concealment on carriers, though, right now. Alright, so we have our fighters kind of in a interception layout or spot right now for our teammates. And let's see if we can spot anything to go torpedo. Each squadron does have 6 torpedo bombers in it, so we can drop 12 torpedoes at once, which should be enough to pretty much sink anything that we come across. So, for instance, that King George V looks pretty good, but I'm not too happy about the Hipper and the Baltimore together. So they did just ram, so maybe we can do a double kill here. We're gonna try. This sounds pretty interesting. Because if they ram, again, they'll be stationary. Alright, so we're gonna drop there. Look how many aircraft I'm losing though. Alright, let's bring our dive bombers in to go over this Hipper again. And we actually missed a lot on the Baltimore. Dive bombers coming in for the Hipper. 3 bomb hits and a fire. It's not the best drop, but you know what? I'll take it. Of course, our fighters are not actually doing anything right now. Let's actually engage one of the fighter squadrons. If it's 1v1, we have the upgraded fighters and all the AA support from our team. So we did lose 1 torpedo bomber squadron right now, but that's okay. We already have the spares ready. Let's get them out before the other squadrons have to land. Honestly, I could have done a lot more damage if I still had my torpedo bombers. They were just shot down way too easily there. Alright, so we're going to keep moving to the north here, keeping the islands in between us. We're going to have to go after these. Oh, maybe we can go after that North Carolina next. That sounds like a pretty good idea. At least damage-wise. We're still going to lose a ton of aircraft, because that anti-aircraft defense is pretty powerful. One of the top 3 anti-aircraft defense battleships at this tier, between Massachusetts, North Carolina, and Richelieu. Or at least that was last time I checked. Let's see here. So we have our torpedo bombers back out. The Baltimore did go down, so that helps us a little bit. But that Hipper is still there. Let's see what our fighter is doing. Not doing what I need them to do. Alright, so let's rush this North Carolina. We might be able to sink her with the torps and then try and dive bomb Hipper if nothing else presents itself. Okay, I think I'm going to lose that fight with the fighters, but maybe we can knock down some aircraft. So I don't like that angle. Let's try something like that. I know I lost a few planes because of that, but I'd rather actually hit the ship than not. Though it looks like I'm going to get quite a few torpedoes to hit that didn't arm, unfortunately. But that's okay. Dive bombers coming in. So it looks like she's almost going to go down. Hipper went down. Oh, but she is healing. Yeah, we're going to need the dive bombers to finish her up, which is fine with me. We lost our fighters. Actually, if we can keep our dive bombers, I'd like that. So I'm going to trust my team to take down the North Carolina, hopefully. Though I am already in the AA blob. You know, if you're not going to be able to sink her... There we go. Okay. Well, let's go after the King George V now. I am pretty much going to lose this entire squadron. Well, maybe we can get a couple bomb hits. Hey, we did, and we got a fire as well, so that certainly helps. One thing I have noticed from Tier 8 American carriers, that being specifically Saratoga and Lexington, not so much Enterprise though, is that they just lose aircraft so quickly. It may just be my playstyle, since I kind of have each squadron separated and not together, but even when they were together, like that first strike with torpedo bombers, I had both squads together and I still lost half of them. Alright, so let's bring our fighters back out as well. And then let's see what we can do against this Amagi. It's not the strongest battleship, but it would be a good... It has the least amount of AA right now, so it'd be a good target to get some good damage. I'm going to circle Squad 2 so they're right on top of each other. And then come in for a drop. So all 12 torpedoes were launched, and that was actually a really good drop. So we should be able to get this kill. There we go. Finally a good drop. And I kind of want to go after this carrier next. because I feel like I will be the next target since I'm closest. So let's use a tactic that we tried on our Tai-Ho video. We're going to, oh, no, you're going to come here. Circle our dive bombers with our fighters. Why do our fighters not want to listen right now? Ignore the fighter. Okay. You know what, fine. You want to go after that? Go after that. We're going to pop our defensive AA because we are under attack right now. Here come the dive bombers. 2 fires, 5 bomb hits, good amount of damage. Let's bring our torpedo bombers out. Fighters need to attack those dive bombers. Lexington has really powerful anti-aircraft defenses, so we should be able to knock down all of these planes without a problem. We are also capping the base as well. Alright, and that should finish up the carrier. Ooh, nope. There we go. Even if some don't arm, we're still going to get quite a few torpedo hits, and there she goes. And now all we have left is this King George V. I suppose our fighters could go after these. Though it actually looks like we don't need to because the other ship has already been sunk. Alright, so let's see how we did. We kind of redeemed ourselves in the later part of this game, but the early part was kind of terrible. But we still were able to get 197,000 damage, 2 ships sunk, 20 torpedo hits, 10 bomb hits, 26 aircraft shot down, 4 fires, 3 floodings for 6,400 base XP. 29,000 damage was in fires and floodings, actually just fires. And then 143,000 in torpedoes, 24,000 in bombs. Not a lot of bomb damage right now because we're not getting a lot of bomb attacks in. They're all getting shot down before we can. But those torpedo bombers were able to do quite a number on the enemy team. The fighters, though, not enough to really be effective. But yeah, there you have it. Tomorrow's video should be slightly better because it's just like the first layout, however you get more aircraft. So as you can see here, you're able to get 2 fighter squadrons and then a torpedo bomber squadron of 8 aircraft and then a dive bomber squadron of 9 aircraft. So a lot more aircraft, but the same kind of number of squadrons. So this one will probably be the best one to use for this ship. But that is all for today's video. If you liked the video, make sure you like and subscribe, and join me tomorrow for the final review of the air group for Lexington. So again, thank you and take care.